Hello, welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you have never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. This one is for the vegetarians, and I'm so excited to share it with you. Obviously, everyone else can have it too, but I was thinking about this Boursin cheese thing, this trend that we've all been doing with the pasta, and it gave me an idea. So like, what about beans? It just like came to me, like we've been doing it with pasta. What about beans? So this is a pound of grape tomatoes. This is about the ratio that I figured out that works, okay? So you want to cover this is a 9x9 dish. So basically I'm going to cover the bottom. We're going to give them a pretty generous, enough to coat, squidge of olive oil. Then we're going to do pepper, which I love. I love pepper. And we're going to do some salt. Tomatoes are acidic and they need balance. We're going to do some salt, not too much. Just going to use the old mitts, right? And then we're just going to give it a really good toss to coat every tomato in that salty, peppery, olive oily goodness. Yum. Okay. Now we're going to make a little spot here. Let me wash my hands. The Boursin I'm using is the fine herb and garlic. So we're just going to open that up. What a versatile, cool ingredient. Like now that I've discovered it, I can't go back. I'm just making so many recipes with it. Use it every day, but I don't know how to pronounce it. But this Dorot maybe is how you pronounce it. This is crushed garlic and it's frozen and I'm totally obsessed with it. Each one of these cubes is like a clove. So I'm just going to put 2, I think, because this is already pretty garlicky with the cheese. Preheat the oven to 425 degrees. I'm going to pop this in for 10 minutes and maybe 15 minutes. We're waiting for that to cook. I drained a can of these organic cannellini beans and I rinsed them under the faucet and I'm just letting them sit here and dry out. Beans are so great. They're so full of like iron and nutrients and protein. It's a great way to get protein. Plus like these cannellini beans are so creamy. Like the flavor and the texture is incredible. Just imagine for a second that same creamy tomatoey pasta that everyone's making with the Boursin, but instead it's a creamy tomatoey like bean situation. And I just eat it like with a crust of bread, like a crusty, delicious bread. Or I actually fried up some flour tortillas the other day and made like pita sort of chips and ate it with that. And that was also delicious. So I have my beans ready for when the tomatoes are done roasting. The only thing you need that's a little bit different, I guess you don't have to do this step. But for me, texturally, I don't love the bits of skin and stuff from the tomatoes. So when this finishes roasting and it's all delicious, I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to blend it into like something smooth. I'm going to show you a little trick to thicken it up, which I think is kind of fun. Get this pan of boiling goodness, okay? It's very hot, but it smells incredible. Cheesy, garlicky, tomatoey goodness, okay? Burning hot. So this is like a use with caution situation. But like I said, I'm going to blend it up in the blender. By the way, I love this spatula because it's like a spatula, but it's also kind of like a spoon. And it does a great job in applications like this, where it's like flat and you want to get everything out from underneath. But you want to get all the liquid too, right? And it's boiling hot. So definitely always use caution when you're blending hot things. Make sure that that lid is on securely. And sometimes you have to vent a little bit of the steam out so it don't explode on you. Okay, so let's just get as much of this liquid out as we can. I'm gonna pour the last little bit in a second. I'll show you. That last tomato, 1 tomato. Come on, man, get in the spoon. You can do it.
I'll get inside the blender.
You're gonna get in the blender, tomato? Ever, so carefully, boiling hot. Put that liquid. Okay, here's the back of the blender. It's blended and it's beautiful, but let me show you how thin it is. It's pretty thin. Like, you know, ooh, look at all that steam, be careful. It's pretty thin, like a liquid. I don't want that. I want like a thick dippy. So I've got some crusty bread here. This is ciabatta, okay? I'm gonna take a piece or two of this bread and I'm gonna pop it in here. I'm gonna tear it up a little just to give my blender a little help, right? I'm gonna do just one piece. I'm gonna blend it up and see how thick it gets, okay? Okay, so here's another little piece. Break that up. So this is like a great way to, like, you don't want to add extra cream because you've already got all that cheese in there and we're going to dip it bread in it anyways. This is a great way to thicken it up and give it that sort of unctuousness we're looking for. So blend it up. We're back to our baking dish. Let me just show you the gorgeousness. I'm going to pour it back into here. Look at this. Look at that. Now that would be a delicious meal in itself, okay? That's like the most incredible soup. Look at this deliciousness, right? That's basically soup now. A roasted tomato and cheese soup. But I'm gonna make it into, miss one drop of this. So I'm gonna go in here with my silicone spatula and I'm gonna get every last bit I can out of here. I wish there was some way I could take the blade out so I could really get every morsel. Our pan is still hot, our oven is still cranking. I'm gonna add our cannellini beans, okay? And I'm gonna give it a toss in this delicious, cheesy, garlicky, tomatoey incredibleness. So good. Oh, so good. All right, you could sprinkle this with like more cheese if you wanted to have like a pretty top. I don't care about any of that. I only care about the flavor. I'm gonna pop this back in the oven just to get the beans incorporated. Everything here is cooked. Just to get everything to kind of marry together, be best friends. If you want her to be pretty, you could garnish her with some herbs or some olive oil or whatever. I don't care about any of that. I only care about flavor. So I'm gonna take some of this cheesy, tomatoey, beany goodness, boiling hot out of the oven. Oh my God. It's so good. Since the first time I made it, I have been dreaming about it. It's just so good. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe like tomato soup, but it has the protein of the beans. I love it too on the tortilla, the fried tortilla. The beans are creamy. This is creamy. Don't worry, I'm the only one eating it. It's so hot, but it's so good.